What's up, you guys? It's ZacJacDan coming at you with a podcast. This is from the Carolina Collectors Connection. We are the C3-T, and this time we are coming at you with custom comics. We're coming at you with Man Cave Collectibles, also myself, ZacJacDan, and we are also bringing you Wally from Gorilla Bread Comics. And we're going to do with some comics and stuff, doing our Toy Talk Time podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to Man Cave Collectibles. This is a podcast that we're going to start doing on a monthly basis. And I've got some friends from the comic book community and YouTube community here with us today. This will probably be our fairly normal cast, as well as probably some others that we'll be able to add in as we go. So we'll go ahead and do an introduction to everybody. We've got ZacJacDan. We've got Custom Comics. And we've got Wally. ZacJacDan, go ahead and give us a quick breakdown of what you do.
What's up, guys? This is ZacJacDan, and you'll have seen me on YouTube doing everything videos. So if you're looking for any kind of encyclopedia of what is out there for Marvel Legends, for Star Wars, for Master of the Universe, just go look up ZacJacDan with every and whatever you need. So Wolverine, whoever, and you'll find exactly what you need for every Marvel Legends Wolverine that has been made.
And I'm assuming you take requests as well. Is that right?
I definitely take requests.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Custom Comics, what you got?
All right, this is Custom Comics. I'm sure you know me as What Up, Friendly Neighborhood, Friendly YouTubers. I do a little bit of everything, mostly my YouTube channel, from Hot Toys, NECA, Marvel Legends, and one specific one, Kuro Kara Curie. That's one of my favorites from Philip. But yeah, I do a little bit of custom work, and I do take requests on what if I have something you want to see. So I got a little bit of everything, a lot of Spawn, McFarlane. Yeah, so if you got any requests or comments, just hit me up on my Instagram or my YouTube channel, Custom Comics.
All right, cool. And then we got Mr. Wally. What's going on, Wally?
What's going on, good people? My YouTube channel is nothing, but I am a professional illustrator, character design, concept work. I draw a lot. That's the main thing.
Cool.
See, I just saved us like 10 minutes right there.
That's true. You saved a ton of time with that right there. That's exactly right. So we'll put some links to these guys at the end of the video, and in the description we'll put a link to these guys' channels, as well as how Mr. Wally can be reached. We'll talk a little more about what he does later on in the podcast. So as far as me, I review about anything out there, and my collection changes about every 6 months. I sell everything I have and start in something else. So I can't figure out what I want to do with my collection, but just looking around, it changes very often. So I review statues, Marvel Legends, NECA, all kinds of stuff. So definitely check out our channels for the content that's there. Pretty cool. So what we want to do now is we want to talk about just some toy news that is kind of relevant over the last several weeks. So we're just going to kind of scroll through some pictures. We'll talk about them. We'll go through them. Some of them we may not have much to say about them. Some of them we may. So we'll go ahead and get started. I want to start off with just a couple statues and 1/6 scale figures that are coming out that I found pretty cool, being that I'm a little more in the statue world probably than the rest of you guys are. But this first one is a Dark Side 1/6 scale limited edition diorama. So it's getting some talk in the community, in the statue community. One neat thing, and a way I heard somebody actually talk about this statue, was this really could be your definitive DC statue at 1/6 scale. So you can imagine, each one of those Batman, Superman, those are about 12 inches tall to kind of give you a feel for how large this thing is going to be. So if you didn't want to have individual pieces for all these guys, you could drop $3,200 and just have the main DC universe all in one statue. So we can just kind of scroll through these pictures and check them out. You guys can add in any comments you want.
Well, the first thing is price. What is the highest you've ever paid for something? That's a lot of money for a statue.
Whew, I'm not even remotely close to that. That's getting up there to the point of buying a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. The highest I've ever spent on any one thing was about $200 probably on a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, I'm probably about $700 to $800 just due to the statues. When you start dealing with the sideshow statues, you're getting up there. But typical probably collector, like you said, probably somewhere between $50 and $200 or $300. So that's a real commitment right there with that one.
Yeah, I don't think they have a problem moving them though. I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably limit it though. You don't think it'd be like a standard release, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Honestly, I believe, and I could be completely wrong, and I don't have it here with me. I want to say it was like the issue number was like 300 and something. Like it's not very many. Where a typical statue that they put out, at least 1,000.
Right.
And that's, you talk about somebody like a Kotobukiya, they may put out 5,000 of a statue, 1/6
Right.
scale. So they're talking, I want to say it was like a 300 piece issue count. So, they're not planning on making a whole bunch of them. They're not going to sell but 300 something, but I'm like Wally, I bet you they'll sell every one of them.
Yeah.
So it's not an exclusive piece, is it? I see a limited edition, but is it exclusive?
It's not exclusive because it's XM Studios, so you could probably buy it directly from XM. Big Bad's obviously got it up. I'm not sure if Sideshow does or not. I would imagine Sideshow. Well, I don't know if Sideshow actually carries XM. I know they carry Prime 1, but I'm not sure that they carry the XM Studios. But I thought it was a really cool piece. The base on it was like 50 something inches, I believe. So you're going to need like your kitchen table, to be able to display this thing. So not only is it a price commitment, but it is a real size commitment,
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was a cool piece, so I want to throw it in here. The next piece.
It definitely looks good, but I definitely ain't buying it.
No, I'm with you. Just so everybody knows, I will not be reviewing that piece. So the next thing that I'm throwing up is actually something I will be purchasing. This is a Spider-Man versus Venom statue. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I follow a lot of statue forums, and there's been a lot of talk in the forums, negative talk about this statue. Let me scroll. There's a lot of talk about this Venom Head. This is an exclusive Venom Head. The other one I can show you here. So it comes with two heads. If you get the exclusive version, you get the head on the left, which is kind of more that, I guess, would you call that maybe more like a Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's trying to pay homage to the McFarlane spot of Venom.
And that's what I'm thinking. It's getting a lot of flack because of that bottom jaw sticking out like it does.
Yeah, I agree.
Like an overbite, underbite.
Yeah, so much of an underbite. And if you look at Todd McFarlane's artwork, it doesn't typically have that big of an underbite, So it's getting a lot of flack, but I love the portrait on the right.
On the right looks good. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think they might have missed the mark trying to mimic Todd. Not sure who sculpted it, but they might want to go back and rework that. When is it coming out?
It comes out, let's see. That one is coming out the first quarter of 2021, so they still got time. I know they put out the official images, but they could rework that. I'm with you, Wally.
Yeah.
If they're
redo that jaw anyway.
Yeah, if they're listening to the community.
Well, let's hope they do like they did with the Sonic movie, because the Sonic movie became a much better movie with that new animation.
Right.
When they listen to the community.
Yeah.
Good point. Another concern everybody has is the Spidey. that is a pose. You can see what he's holding on by, that one arm. That's a big concern for a lot of people. And I can tell you as a statue collector, man, it would not take much right there to be trying to super glue Spider-Man's arm back on.
That's all holding on.
It is, let's see, it is barely there, man. So that's a concern. They didn't like the pose as much either. I see that getting a lot in the community, the pose, Spider-Man's pose. I guess apparently they wish he was more engaged with Venom. And I can't say I really deny that. It would be nicer if he was more engaged with him. It would also give you more of a sense of security with the statue itself versus him hanging off the ledge with, one little skinny arm there. So I don't know if they're going to put a metal bar through that arm maybe to try to support it. I'm not sure, but.
And what scale is this again?
So this right here, they call these 1/5 scale. So I want to say you can see the apple there, but from the bottom of the statue to the top of his fingers, I believe is like 23 inches. So, it's in between a 6 and a quarter scale. So, if you watch like my Bane review, how big Bane was in that review.
Yes.
He's not going to be quite as big as like Bane was in that review. So, but it's still going to be a pretty large statue. Yeah. So we got that. The next thing is this. So this one, they just released some of these images, I believe today. This is one of the new Spider-Man Hot Toys. So it's going to be your 12-inch Hot Toy figure. We're also custom comics. I know that's in your world. So what do you guys think of this? It's called a tech suit.
Oh, that's sweet. I like it.
The paint job, the I guess, what do you call that? Almost like a bee comb, a
honeycomb.
Honeycomb, that's it.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the paint job.
Yeah, it's like the suit showing up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple heads with this guy. So this guy.
So what's with this right here where you don't see the honeycomb?
Yeah, see, I don't understand that. I don't.
Is that a final image?
But see, if you look at it here, you see it again.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be light sensitive.
Good point. Almost like you remember those like holographic card, not holographic cards as a kid, but you remember like the cards you could get and the person could move if you
and it changed the image.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you zoom in right there, you see at the top right-hand corner, it says include specialized LED light unit. So that little unit right there is light.
That's this right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, so it sounds
that'll
like
probably give that effect.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, good call, Daniel. Good call. So that's coming out second quarter of 2021. It wasn't even up for pre-order when I set up these pictures. So I think they're planning on it coming out for pre-order in the next day or two. And it is based on the Spider-Man PS4 game. So, which is amazing.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that suit in the game.
Oh, do you? So I don't remember the suit from the game. I unlocked a ton of suits, but I don't remember that one specifically for some reason.
Oh, it had the spider with a glow to it, but I don't think the rest of the suit had any glow to it.
It had the green glow. It had the green glow.
Just the spider. That was it. Yeah.
So
it looked more like the one you just passed. Go back. So it looked like that. It had a slight glow around the spider, but nothing else.
Okay. I don't remember that one for some reason. My daughter would probably remember that one better than I would. She beat the game quicker than I did.
Well, it was kind of like, not to say boring, but in the game compared to the other suits, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, the spider glows. And then you kind of moved on,
True. Yeah, it's could you even hardly tell you had the regular suit on versus this suit?
Right.
Yeah, I got that. All right, so next thing we'll move into Mafex. So here's kind of the next Mafex Marvel figure, which I thought was kind of cool. Now this is due out anytime now. You know, with everything going on in the comic industry, with things running behind, you know, it's been, you know, it has a, oh, I'm sorry, it's not March 2020, it's March 2021. So it's actually coming out in a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one's still on track. So it's Gambit. I thought it was pretty good. What do you guys think of the soft goods on these type of figures?
What, me? I don't know about Mayfix soft goods yet. I haven't gotten a figure with Mayfix soft goods. Only one, you know, Mezco. They about the best ones I know, but Mayfix, I haven't seen anything Mayfix in hand with soft goods. It looks good.
It looks good. At first glance to me, it looks a hair thick.
A little big, a little, yeah.
A little thick.
So I'm wondering where Gambit's neck is.
Yeah. Well, and you know, this picture don't really answer that question either.
Just a side note, I just got that that alert saying that the meeting doesn't have a time limit. I think Zoom has moved the 45-minute limit for the next few days or something.
They did. We tested that last night actually, and when it got to that point, it just extended it on. So yeah, you're exactly right, Wally.
But back to Fat Gambit. From a distance, he looks cool, but as you get close up, yeah, it does look really, really thick.
Heavy, yeah.
It looks very heavy. Yeah, I'm with you. I love the head sculpt though. I think the head sculpt is on point.
Yeah.
And by the other picture you showed, it looked like it's going to be a wired coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do look heavy. I don't know if that'll affect the posing of it or it looks thick.
It does look very thick.
Yeah.
But I mean, the sculpt to me looks good. If you take the
hair, face, yeah. Awesome.
The accessories here, the accessories look cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the effects with that. So that's coming out. Let's see, Gambit's due out in March 2021. There's a good.
Oh, I like that right there.
Yeah, that's
good. Yeah.
Proportions look pretty good on him. They had an issue with the Cyclops and the Wolverine that come out in this line. In fact, I had the Wolverine. I had a couple of them. Wolverine's arms would fall off when you go to try to pose them. Cyclops proportions looked bad. His legs were long. His torso was really short. Gambit looks good to me. At least that's my thoughts on it. And like you guys said, this is a great looking shot right here. So moving on, this one. So I don't know anybody who collects these type of figures. I love the thought of this. In fact, they've got a Michael Jordan. Medicom has a Michael Jordan in his Chicago Bulls uniform, which I've got pre-ordered, as well as a LeBron James, which I've got pre-ordered. But something about this one, I couldn't get on board to buy it. I don't know what it is. It's like he's got his Urkel pants on, or I don't know what's going on here. You guys tell me what you think.
He just looks odd. Like the arm looks odd, the neck looks odd, the clothes look big.
It does. Everything just looks wrong. And go ahead.
You were exactly right about it's something where they didn't nail it, cause I had the one with Chicago Bulls outfit on. I had it on pre-order. I took it off of pre-order cause the more I looked at it, it's just something they didn't nail it, man.
You couldn't love it. And I may be in the same boat as you. I need to go back and now that I've looked at this one, I need to go back and look at the Chicago Bulls one and be sure that that's where I want my $100 to go. Because if that Chicago Bulls one looks like this, I don't know that I want it as much as I love Jordan and the NBA.
To me, it looks the same, just got a different uniform on.
It's just so it does look the same.
Is the Bulls a red jersey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll make a difference. And does he have an alternate head with his tongue out or anything?
He's got two heads.
What about on the Bulls one?
I believe he has two heads with that one as well.
He does, but it's not a smiling face, I don't think. Like this one.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Even the paint, and I know this may this may be an early version, but even the paint is off between the face and the body and neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smile is most definitely not it.
Yeah, this is just, I don't know, man. Like I said, I love the thought. I love the concept. I wish somebody would do a 6 or 7 inch NBA line and do it right.
Right.
Maybe this is an area where had they sculpted the jersey, sculpted the pants, get away from soft goods, you know, go the McFarlane way. And I don't know, McFarlane may have that full license. The way they got it may be that they say, hey, we're going to do soft goods. We're not going to do, you know, plastic.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
That could be one thing that got them why they end up in the way they are. And they really,
the shoes look accurate.
The shoes look good. It's what he wore. Yeah, it's what he wore in the Olympics. So, or for the USA team.
Yeah, shoes, the socks, that looks good.
Yeah. Yep. So kind of bad from the knees up. It's a no-go. All right.
There we go. There we go.
I wanted to put these
That's
in.
what I'm waiting on right there.
So Custom Comics has Batman and Superman Hush pre-order, correct?
Yes.
You got them both pre-ordered.
Yes.
So what do you guys think here? I'm looking at this. To me, it's going to be hard to beat this figure.
You know, I'm not a huge Superman fan, but this is probably but just from looking at this one picture, this is probably the best looking Superman figure I've seen in a long time, personally.
Correct. I agree. I do agree. Yeah, best 6 inch. Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, I think a lot of the conflict with people is going to be the way that the cape is attached to his chest right there, isn't it?
Up around the neck, chest area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually attached like under his chest plate, which kind of I guess that kind of has an odd look to it. But I mean, when you look at him standing straight up, you know, I can't.
I didn't complain about the first picture, but yeah, this picture right here, you definitely are seeing that.
Yeah. You think it's got bendy wire in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it looks kind of odd, but I would probably still get it because it overall just looks like it reminds me of a figure arts figure as far as the detail and the movement. So I'd probably still get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what I think about the poison ivy vines though.
Yeah, is that what that is? The poison ivy vines.
That's poison ivy vines. I don't understand that, but
so she took over in the Hush storyline. If you haven't read it, she actually took over Superman. And he became an evil version that Batman was have to go going after.
That's right. I think I remember that now.
Okay.
So the crazy thing is, he should have like an alternate hand and head that has some like green veins going through him. Would be nice.
Yeah, his eyes should be green too, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty good. My guess is most people aren't going to be posing him with the poison ivy.
No, he doesn't need that.
Yeah, he don't need that. So this guy is coming out in July of this year. And then we got the man right here, Mr. Batman.
Now, I've seen the Batman before, but I hadn't seen the Superman before.
So Batman should be out anytime now. He's June of 2020. So I would expect folks to be, you know, seeing some credit cards get hit on him. But I love this Batman.
That's sweet, man. Sweet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Jim Lee art, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Lee.
That's what I thought. I mean, even his regular head looks amazing. That head sculpt to me looks great.
Right.
And there's his accessories. So he should be out anytime now. Moving on, we get into Mr. ZacJacDan's world here. Marvel. All of these just went up for pre-order, what, Daniel, in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, they just announced during Fan First Friday, I believe, on the Hasbro Pulse about some of these things here. So we got the Age of Apocalypse here, which is a repaint of the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure that we had. But at least with this repaint, you got a completely different figure. compared to the Venom that you just did. To me, I was kind of torn with, do I want to buy the repaint since I already have the Build-A-Figure and spend all that money on it? However, talking about money, I do like the price on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Probably $29.99 most places, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Bad. Adding a little something to the price. But yeah, this guy right here looks good. And I'm actually reading the AOA storyline right now in omnibus form. And all of these AOA figures that they're doing right now, they're nailing them, man. They are absolutely nailing them. I can't wait to get my hands on the Dark Beast.
So if you go over to my son ZacLegends channel, you'll start seeing some of those reviews come up. We just got ours in from Dorkside Toys. So
he gonna have those up in the next day or two?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Okay.
We got.
Here we are. One that I've been begging for is the classic War Machine, and this is also a deluxe figure that's got all kinds of accessories to it, all kinds of missiles and flame effects coming out of his feet. So this is another $29.99s, and you got the I'm gonna say that's like the 80s style head as well that he has there.
Yep.
Now, Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Toy Biz give us a version of this War Machine?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is a much needed replacement. I don't often say that I want to replace my Toy Biz stuff, but this one's much needed.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent upgrade right here.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I even like the effects they're starting to do with some of them. I think that just adds to the shelf presence of a Marvel Legend, you know? All right, then we've got.
Well, it also gives those guys that are doing photos and stuff of their dioramas and whatnot the ability to have even more.
Yeah,
right.
That's where Ross is about to go down that path.
Oh yes. It's trying to get, because SH Figure Arts always give you a lot of effect parts. So Marvel Legends is most definitely up in their game in that.
Yeah. So we got the retro Spider-Man wave, which I love. I think these are great. The only one I have a problem with, and especially for all of us guys that grew up in the 80s and 90s, these retro card backs, for me, they almost make me want to leave them in card. And I rarely ever think that. I'm always like the first guy to break a daggum package open. I don't like, necessarily displaying on card, but some of these retro ones, man, I love them.
Yeah, the artwork looks good.
It does. Takes you back to being a kid, you know?
Were you going to say there was one that stuck out you didn't like?
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second. You probably know this one right here.
That's the one you don't like?
I don't, man. It's these glasses. I cannot get past these glasses right here. I don't know what they're doing. That's
perfect. That's comic book accurate.
It's Doc Ock's glasses. Is this comic accurate?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Gwen Stacy with a Mary Jane head. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she looks awesome. That's needed. And this guy right here, he's got some new articulation that they're trying to show off. And I know you don't have any pictures of it here, but you can get a lot more ab crunch with him and put him in better poses. So if you want to hang him off a Venom shelf by his arm, maybe you can do that too. I don't know.
And like Daniel, I see that they starting to add more extra hands too with the Marvel figures.
Yeah, they're much needed.
Yeah.
Well, and especially with these figures that we don't get a Build-A-Figure piece with.
And yet you're paying the same price.
Paying the same price. If you think about it, we actually have some figures out there where we get a Build-A-Figure and still get a pair of hands. So if you think, we ought to be paying, either we ought to have more accessories with these, or we should
have a price drop.
$3 less. Yeah.
Right.
But at least we get extra head, extra hands, that kind of thing.
And nostalgia.
And the nostalgia. Now this one, Daniel, is this just a repaint of the last Electro we got?
No, it's completely different.
It is different. Okay.
Yep.
But it
Yeah,
is
this body's actually a lot thicker than the other one, I think.
okay, cool. And it's the class. This is the classic version where the other one had like was it black pants?
I can't 100% tell you that. Oh no, but the lightning effect is yellow on this one versus the blue they had before.
Okay. And then
I'm so glad to get a new Daredevil.
That's a nice one. Armored up too.
Yeah, it looks good.
What storyline was this from? Do y'all know? You have any idea?
Not 100% sure.
I don't remember the story. I remember seeing the suit when it was put out there, but I just don't remember what the story was.
Where the storyline was.
But you got to remember, every single one of those figures were actually originally on a retro card back in the day. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's good to know.
So they finally are showing us this strong guy. There was 2 figures that they hadn't revealed, and so they finally revealed to us this past Monday. Every Monday first Monday they've been showing us some new stuff of the months. So they finally showed us Pirate Deadpool and Shiklo with a little shark. So that kind of rounded the wave off to get your strong guy Build-A-Figure. It's a very weak wave, but I think people are still going to seek it out because they want that strong guy so bad.
Well, me being one. I want the the Sunspot and the Warpath. That's about it. But I'm gonna buy the whole wave just to get him, because my concern is he's going to end up being $125, $150 Build-A-Figure, at least at first.
But exactly, like you said, they're going to re-release this guy anyway as a deluxe, probably for $30. So
Bingo. What they say about 18 months? I think they said
18 months. Yep.
18 months. They'll hold a Build-A-Figure for 18 months and re-release them on a single card. So yeah,
Now, that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee that that'll happen with this guy, but
you would think demand would push the re-release. If they have a build like the what was it in the Guardian, the Red Crimson? Is that who it was? In the
who?
Red Guardian. It was the Black Widow wave. What was the Build-A-Figure?
The Crimson Dynamo.
Crimson Dynamo. How is that a hot Build-A-Figure?
No.
Yeah. So see, I would kind of think like demand would push. Okay, 18 months from now, we're going to definitely release a strong guy. People's going nuts for him. He's going for $150 on eBay. Crimson Dynamo, he's going for $40 on eBay, and nobody can sell him. I don't see why they put him on a single card. But these are pretty cool. These are cool. I mean, this Deadpool had what, like one comic book storyline in this outfit, maybe?
Yeah, and Hasbro's already done him once back in the Toys R Us 2-pack days for Hasbro, and I don't know why they're doing it again. This is the first time we ever seen Maverick before. Of course, Shikla is Deadpool's wife, and you got the little shark that is Gwenpool's pet.
Okay.
Here's Warpath. Looks pretty good. That's the old classic style, I guess. You would know more about that one, Phil. You read that comic book a lot, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be X-Force and I believe X-Men. I don't have it on the wall in here. I think it's somewhere else, but that would be his original appearance, which I can't remember which number X-Men that was now. Was it X-Men 100 or whatever it was? I can't remember. 75.
No, that wasn't his brother?
That may have been.
Proud Star, right?
Oh, Proud Star. And I think it was Warpath was the original.
This is my biggest disappointment right there. Go back one right there.
Pirate.
Yeah, I think they went too far with that one.
Yeah. I think I said in one of my videos, they've oversaturated the market with Deadpool.
Well, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and give you another plug here. Just go search ZacJacDan every Deadpool, and you'll see what all Marvel Legends have done for him.
They definitely can overdo a character. And if there is one, that's him.
And here's a Black Tom. I know there's a lot of people that this is on their top 10 list, and I've just never been there with that one.
This is pretty cool. And what's his name, Daniel?
That one's Sunspot.
Sunspot, yeah. I like the aesthetics of that one.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Yeah.
And the Build-A-Figure. That's the one everybody's going to be wanting.
And that was always my number one on my top 10 list. So I got to go redo that video now too.
Oh, okay.
All right, then we'll move into NECA. So NECA, one of NECA's new items they're putting out that folks seem to be pretty excited about is the Back to the Future line. They're going to do a Back to the Future line. They've already got the Marty McFly and Biff up for pre-order. Did you guys watch this movie? Was this something you guys watched a lot when you was growing up?
Definitely watched it. I mean, you know, the whole craze with the Nikes was a major thing with the
True.
I can't even think of the name of them now. Forgive me, but the shoes with the auto lacing shoes. You know what I mean? So that
I think that's them right there on them.
yeah, that's them right there.
That's it.
Yep.
Well, I think what was it? The fact that we actually got to the year that he was presenting himself to be in, and we didn't actually get to the shoes that tie themselves.
Right.
Or
And
the skateboard that floats.
That forced Nike to start pushing the shoes that they came out with, the ones that tighten up automatically or whatever.
Yep. They're Bluetooth, right?
I believe it is Bluetooth, yeah. Because you can control them from your phone and whatever, yeah, presets in them, yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
They're basketball shoes, is what most people. I know a couple NBA players was wearing them.
Yeah.
I think Jason Tatum was wearing them for a while.
But these figures look good, man. They got some great detail and they're great price range.
NECA kills it, man. NECA kills it. Got a decent amount of accessories with each of them, and like I said, the price range stays pretty fair. They're pretty nice.
Have they said how many figures are going to be in that set? Is it just going to be those two, or are they going to do other characters?
So I think they're going to continue the line, from what I understand. But that's all that they've got up for pre-order right now.
I'd like to see the DeLorean at least, and then Doc Brown hopefully.
And the Doc, yeah, they got to get Doc.
Right.
You know, when I look at lines like that, though, how really deep can they go? You know, to me, they got 3 or 4 characters.
Right.
Before people kind of, you know.
Right.
It's going to be hard to sell. These right here are not going to be hard to sell. These right here are hard to find.
I cannot believe that's a 2-pack. That's all I can say.
Now,
it is
the 2-pack. This is part of the 2-pack that's coming to Walmart, or is this something that's going to be okay.
Yep. The movie figures are Walmart. The comic figures are Target exclusive, and they're actually re-releasing those GameStop movie figures that they have. They're re-releasing those in 2-packs for Walmart as well.
Yeah, Phil put me up on that early, yes, because I kept missing it before, and Phil helped me to get Leo, which of course is the best turtle. Discussion there, and so now with these 2-packs, I get to go back and try to get my hands on everybody.
And go back out there to Custom Comics. He's got a bunch of reviews on those too.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Custom Comics has all the reviews on the NECA TMNT if you want to get caught up on that. So check that out on his channel.
Yes, sir.
These guys right here will all be hunting and we'll all be frustrated. I can already tell you. It's just the way it's going to be. We'll have to help each other out. If one of us finds 2 of these, buy them both, and we'll ship them to each other.
There you go. The only thing scares me about them is Walmart dealing with them.
Yeah.
I don't trust Walmart. Yeah. They'll drop the ball on you.
I'm sure you'd have to imagine NECA being that. I don't recall. Does NECA really deal with Walmart? I don't recall buying NECA figures at Walmart before.
They have a new section like Target does.
Gotcha. Okay. So they're going to have their own section, because McFarlane kind of has their own section as well.
Yes.
At my Walmart, it's in the electronics section.
That's the same place that the NECA is. Yep.
Okay. So these are going to be awesome. So I threw this in here because I just wanted to look at how well they nailed this.
Yes. NECA has killed sculpts, man.
They have. Some close-ups of these. So they've even got finger articulation, if you look at that. Yeah. And that's not typically something we've seen with NECA figures very often, at least not the ones I've got. You got any with finger articulation, Ross?
NECA, no, not finger articulation.
I didn't think so.
No.
I like that. I think that's pretty cool that they're throwing that in as well.
I can't remember which one, but one of them actually has the ability to move their jaw. I think it might be is this one Razor or Toka? I can't remember.
I think that's Razor.
Razor.
I think he has jaw articulation. You can move his jaw around, and
That's cool, man. These look amazing. I can't wait.
Do you know the release date on this one?
So they've got these scheduled. They're estimated third or fourth quarter of this year.
Oh,
What's the price point?
What would that be? That'd be somewhere between July and December. So
What's the price point? Have they said yet?
If NECA stays where they typically are, they're going to be in that $25 per figure price point, which will put them at $49.99 for the set. But now these guys are bigger. You know, they're going to be bigger than the Turtles. So
to me, they would have to charge a deluxe price on these.
like at least 30 a figure, which is a typical deluxe, right?
It may be more because, you know, the 2-pack where they have Batman going against the Predator or Joker. Joker Alien. Them things that go for $100.
Yeah, they go for 100, but that's aftermarket, right? What did they go for originally?
No, I could be wrong, but I think that was the original price on those.
That was the original price.
$100.
Yes.
So they could be. Maybe they're doing the same thing. It could be. We know they're going to be bigger figures.
Right.
I think every one of them will get bought for that price.
100%. I mean, I will. I'll throw my money at them. I'll give them whatever they want. I don't want to resort to the aftermarket price, however, because if retail price is $100, I mean they'll be
they'll double or triple on aftermarket.
Yeah, they'll be $250. So I don't want to go that path. And then we got the Super Shredder.
Oh, and this is definitely a deluxe price right here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we got. I mean,
NECA.
These are must.
NECA is killing the scope.
They are. I wish they'd give us that diorama with it.
Yes.
Pay for that too. So that's really all we got on these. They've not released a ton of information on these yet. We probably would have got to see a lot more had we had SDCC. So we'll talk about that a little more. So we'll kind of buzz through some of these real fast and get to some of our topics for the night. But here's the He-Man Origins figures. These are 5.5 inch articulated or more articulated figures, but made in the same fashion that they were originally made in the 80s. Daniel, you may know more about this probably than any of us as well, being you were the He-Man, the definitive He-Man collector.
Well, this is Mattel taking back their license basically from Super 7 and telling Super 7, yeah, you guys need to stop all this that you've been doing with the Motu Classics and all the stuff they've been doing. Filmation that they did, that Filmation line they put out was amazing. Looked just like the cartoon.
So is the Filmation line done?
It's done.
Wow.
So they don't have the license at all anymore?
Mattel told them they need to pause for now while they try this out.
Okay. Because I remember them speaking and not really being able to speak at something that happened, some event, and they were saying they couldn't really say where things were going, but they still had hopes. So I still had hopes.
Yep. But I like the articulation that they got in these figures, and they're definitely like you said, nostalgic look of them, but giving us the articulation that we have in the figures that we're used to now.
Right.
And this trap jaw looks amazing. That was always one of my favorites.
Do you remember, is this size the original size, or did they scale them down? I can't remember.
This is the original size, yep.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically the same figure with 4 more points of articulation.
Articulation, right? Elbow, knee, look like.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It maybe looks like wrist as well. I can see some wrist, kind of like a hinge.
Yeah, wrist hinge.
I wonder if their heads are still rubber.
That's a good question.
Yeah. And didn't the old ones have, like, you could turn the waist and they would snap back?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they got rid of that because that's the part that would break over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just have, if you hold it, he's just sitting there kind of swiveling on it as you move him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
I like the mustache. I love it.
Like you said.
So
man,
if you go back on my channel and you go look at the my 5-part series called Progression of an Action Figure Collection, you'll see a bunch of my He-Man that I had, my 80s toys, and then I also bought the 2000X line, so you can kind of go back and look back through some old pictures that I had of my collection whenever I had it.
Yeah,
so this definitely brings up nostalgia, and I love it, but it's not going to be in my collection. I'm limited to what I'm going to buy.
Who is this guy? I don't remember that guy. The one before.
That is Scareglow. He was actually one of the most sought after figures back in the 80s. He was very rare.
Everybody seems to be pretty excited about him coming to this line as well. I guess maybe a lot of guys that couldn't get him then, maybe they're going to make up for lost time by picking him up here in this line.
Mm-hmm. And he does have a glow-in-the-dark effect to him.
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
All right, and then one we'll buzz through real quick. This was one that kind of come out this week. It's by Blitzway. I don't know Blitzway. I'm not familiar with them. Ross, you got any?
Blitzway?
Blitzway?
That it sounds a little familiar, but I'm not. Is it more on the comic side? Look like
Blitzway. To me, I swear I thought Blitzway was a video game company, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, it says what? DHX, Spyro Studio, Blitzway, Mega Hero. I don't know if Mega Hero is just the Inspector Gadget name itself for some reason.
They look fantastic. I can say that. I watched this cartoon.
Yeah, it looked just like the cartoon, the animated cartoon. Yes.
It looks just like it.
How much articulation they got? I see it in his elbow there.
Looks like a lot. Looks like a lot. Elbow, wrist.
Inspector Gadget has a lot, but if you look at the other three, they have little to none.
Yeah. Right.
So, and that was something I did read about this line was Inspector Gadget's going to get all the articulation. These guys are just going to kind of be stand-in, almost like accessories in a sense, to Inspector Gadget. So,
yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah. But you can't deny how good they look. They do look amazing.
Yeah.
Look like they took them right out of the cartoon.
Oh, look at that.
All right, so we got something I want to talk about. We got a couple topics I want to hit on. So the first thing I want to hit on.
Now we're getting serious, Phil.
Here we go. So I want to talk about the Snyder Cut. So I know this has been out for a couple weeks now. I guess it was introduced a couple weeks ago. Everybody went nuts. Twitter went wild. Zack Snyder's tweet here we see. So what's going to be different? You know, I mean, they're saying that it could be a 4-hour-long movie if they want it to be. So what could be different?
What they said is it's going to be probably about 6 hours. They're going to put it out in hour increments so that we actually have more to look forward to as it goes. So you'll watch the first hour, and the next week you'll get the next hour. So they're going to try to give us a little bit of it at a time.
Yeah, because from what I understand, Snyder's original cut was somewhere around 4 hours, even after he had cut it down. So I don't know exactly how they're going to go in and handle re-edits and how clean and crisp it's going to be, but the fact that it's even, well, you know, and the only reason this is probably really happening besides HBO Max is just the fact that there was a whole lot of changes at Warner Brothers when AT&T came in. So, and they gave Zach the $30 million or whatever he was asking for. So, but yeah, that's my understanding too. It's going to be broken down into, it's going to spread over a month and a half or so, which would equal out to those 6 weeks Daniel's saying. So, or 6 episodes that Daniel's saying. So it's going to be interesting. But I did hear that there may be some commentary type things happening. So I don't know if that counts into that time frame that they're talking about. But I think I think you guys are going to love the fact that I told you before that Snyder's vision was the ultimate vision. He just didn't get to finish it. And I think it'll probably, the only concern I have is there's been so much talk about this cut now, and we got a whole nother year before it actually happens, that the hype may be bigger than what it actually is compared to us just enjoying it if we would have just got it that way from the beginning. You know what I mean? So, but I'm excited. You guys know I'm excited.
what happened? Just to refresh my memory, what happened with Snyder? Why was he, in a sense, booted off the project? What happened?
He had to step down. He had a family emergency.
Okay.
Yeah, either his daughter or his son died. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
And so he had to step away at that point. And why they handled it the way they handled it after he stepped down, I'm not sure. And that was my biggest gripe with Warner Brothers. Like, the man's made you billions of dollars. So even if you had to make changes or felt like making changes, just be honest about these choices. Don't make it sound like Snyder just ran from the movie and left y'all hanging, and don't make it sound like these choices that were made were his choices. Like, it was quite clear there was a difference between, who was it, Loeb that who stepped in when he left?
Whedon.
Okay, yeah, because they went total difference in perspective between those two directors. You know what I mean? And I just felt like Warner Brothers did him real dirty. He didn't even get the proper credit for his contributions to Wonder Woman. You know, and everybody loved the Wonder Woman, but still hated Snyder somehow. I'm like, that's because the conversation didn't expand into how much he contributed to the overall scope of what they were doing with Justice League before his departure. But, you know, something like that happens. Family's always first, you know?
Yeah.
So he didn't have time to really fight that battle at that time.
Yeah.
All I can say is that the characters that they have in this movie are iconic. They're beautiful. They're perfect.
Yeah. True.
I agree.
So Wally, you say, are they breaking it down into a series, or it's still gonna be a movie?
Well, Daniel, I don't know if you heard more. From what I'm understanding, they haven't called it a series, but they're really pushing the idea that it's going to be broken down series style.
Okay.
So what that means when they edit it and how they chop it up, I don't know. And I'm really still just curious about if they're going to have to do any reshoots in general just to make certain things still flow, because I know there was a lot of footage that hadn't even gone through certain editing, and a lot of footage they had, but it just got cut. So I'm not sure. I do know Stephen Wolf is supposed to get his original design, Dark Side. Those things are supposed to be changed. I'm just assuming they're going to kind of still, it's going to be put together as a movie, but then just have break points where they can say, you know,
Act 1, Scene 1.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So
they are not doing reshoots, but they will do some voiceovers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the $30 million is basically just for the CG stuff.
Okay.
So my question to you guys is, can this save the DC movieverse? Can this revive it?
I don't think so, because even if it's a great thing, even if it's perfect, it has no effect on what's happening moving forward. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I don't know about that. I mean, just because they've recast Batman in his own movie, you don't necessarily have to tie that into anything. It can be its own thing. Bring Ben Affleck back. You still got your Wonder Woman. You still got your Aquaman. Henry Cavill just signed another contract.
Is
True.
Is Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, are all of them under contract for a certain number of movies?
I know
Yes.
Gal Gadot is for sure. I don't know about Ben Affleck's the only one I think who's not, right?
Okay.
Right.
But that
however, it's very possible those contracts have expired.
That too. Yeah. Yeah.
so
I think
So
everybody.
it's interesting. I don't know if y'all saw the crossover event on the CW or not, but the Flash actually made an appearance on that.
this movie Flash.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Henry Cavill, that was something else I wanted to talk about, was what effect does Henry Cavill have? I think he signed a multi-movie deal, right?
Yeah.
But it's not
think it's at least
necessarily
3.
for a solo.
It's just him throwing himself into fill-in roles. It won't necessarily be another Man of Steel 2 or nothing like that, but he'll be in like the Black Adam movie or Shazam maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know he wanted at one time to do another Superman movie, but again, that there was so many things changing over there at Warner Brothers. I don't think the conversations were going in the right direction, you know. But Daniel, I see your point. If this comes across right, either way, it could reignite certain desires for people to give more chances to the future DC movies, for sure.
I mean, they've all been so close. The Man of Steel movie, the Batman v Superman, and the Justice League, they were all right there at being perfect. But they just had little pieces that you're like, no, y'all just missed the mark.
Yeah.
Can
Well, y'all know my stance on everything Snyder touched with that. I enjoyed Man of Steel and BVS definitely greatly visual. I'm just a visual guy, so you know.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm really curious to see some of the backstory because I know Cyborg was supposed to be fleshed out more in the original cut. I think there was a little bit more with Aquaman, but they didn't go. I don't think they went too deep because you know he had his solo movie coming and everything. But there's a lot of his backstory that was just kind of not discussed in certain ways. So I'm just really curious as to what that full movie looks like. And even the fight with Steppenwolf was supposed to be longer and apparently more violent than what we actually ended up getting.
Oh, wow.
Well, you remember Superman came in and saved the day. So, I mean, that's all you needed was Superman and not the whole Justice League.
True so, indeed.
We know it's HBO Max. Any chance of a theater release? Have they said anything about that? Or is it strictly HBO Max?
Right now they're just hyping it for Max, and I think the reason they might not send it straight, in today's times they could release it on HBO Max and then turn around and put it in the theater because everybody's not using HBO Max right now. You know,
Good point.
And HBO Max still has issues with both Roku and Amazon, and I'm not sure when they'll resolve those issues. So it wouldn't shock me if they figure out some kind of a 3-day situation or something, something in the theaters that's a special or whatever. I'm pretty sure though it'll definitely hit Max first and then they'll move from there. So I wouldn't be shocked personally if they did take it to the theaters.
Even like you
said. Well, and if they did, they probably cut it again and not do the 6 hours.
Yeah. It's a good point. I would go pay to see it in the theater personally.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love all DC movies.
Yeah. All right, guys. So
does Phil and Daniel. They love him too. They really love Zack Snyder.
We hate on him a little bit. We've had many comic convention debates across the comic convention vendor table with Wally about DC movies. Many. So the last thing I want to cover, another topic that I want to get into, is the ramifications of COVID-19 on the comic book toy industry. So, the cancellation of San Diego Comic-Con, as well as every other comic convention that would have occurred, even here in our own hometowns, me, Daniel, and Wally, and pretty close there for Ross. Wally, I'm going to go to you on this one because obviously this probably hits you harder than any of us. The three of us, it hits us in the sense that we don't get a figure when we wanted it, or this comic book that was supposed to release didn't come out. Your job, what you do for a living is in the comic book industry. You go to these conventions, and so talk a little bit about, how's that affected you? How's that affected people your friends and allies in the comic book world? What have you seen there?
Well, a lot of people don't realize, like, for us to network, of course, social media is a huge aspect of what we do, but conventions are your opportunity to be seen on a whole nother scale. Like, Phil, me and you met at a comic related event at Rebel Base, you know what I mean? So, it's your opportunity to not only display your work, but a lot of times at certain shows, that's when editors are there, different companies are there. It's your actual opportunity to show what you do face to face, because a lot of companies don't like for people to just try and kind of cold call them and just drop portfolios. And if you have that rapport with somebody, it makes it easier. And then on the flip side, we greatly depend on being able to do commissions and being able to sell prints in our books and yada. The convention circuit is the equivalent of the Chitlin circuit for up and coming artists in the South or something. You know what I mean? Like, it takes you all around to different places with a built-in audience who is there for comics, who are there for art, who are there for these different aspects. So as soon as this hit, you know, personally, I already knew like, okay, this year is going to be a little tight. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a little different because I can't get out and do shows. But thankfully, I had already planned to reduce the shows. I had been reducing the shows gradually anyway. And I was trying to balance out what shows would make the most impact because there's so many shows happening, which I think will also be a thing that COVID will affect when we get back next year. Well, as this builds back up, some of the shows that were only in it for the moment probably won't come back. So hopefully that'll mean the shows that really cared about what this culture is, what this community is, will be the ones who will shine the brightest and be still able to maintain and do what they do. But, you know, like I was telling Phil, even when they start back doing shows, there's the concern over us as artists sitting down, creators sitting down at tables, everybody else is moving. We're kind of stuck in one spot the whole entire weekend, and you don't know who you're coming in contact with. You know, they have the thing comic crud that people talk about, con crud that people talk about all the time, where you shake hands or someone's standing over you talking, and then a day later, 2 days later, you're sick just because, you know, the interaction with people. So when you start taking those things in consideration, you know, my wife and kids travel with me sometimes. So now it becomes this issue of, do I even take a chance on them being in an environment where I have no clue what the situation really is? If COVID is what they say it is, then people coming and standing for 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes at a time, I don't know what's left in the air. So does that mean we're gloved and masked up the whole time? Does that mean that I can't really draw and work on pieces at the show? Does that mean that I need to have everything pre-packaged and pre-bundled so when people come up, I can have a certain amount of distance? How do you even space the people out who are sitting beside each other? Because, you know, most shows, everybody's kind of jammed into a very tight spot. So how do we even address that and still make it profitable for those who are putting the shows on? Because a lot of these shows are super expensive. And if you cut down who can actually be at the show, that affects how they pay and cover certain costs. Now, I do know some shows get budgets from their state or their city based on the people who come in, but that's going to change too. You know, are we going to have people willing to travel from one side of the country to the other for certain shows? Are we going to have people willing to travel from whole other countries to come to certain shows? You know, the after events, like it's been a very trying thing. And even for me, I had to just go ahead and make the choice to say, I won't do any shows the rest of this year. I need to really get an understanding for how this thing moves and what happens when we come out of the warm weather and go back into the cool weather and the cold weather and yada, yada, yada. But financially, you know, I had companies who were prepared to make certain moves and they had to pull back. We don't know if we'll have a budget to do this project. We don't know if we do this project, will people support it? Because people might not have the budget to buy into certain things. You know, man, even to watch the comic book distribution chain break down the way that it did for a moment was just real interesting. On the independent side, you know, we don't have the middleman, so we're direct to consumer, but it still affected us with the mail. You know, I've got packages that were going out and just sitting at post offices because post offices in different areas don't have the people to handle the influx of traffic. My mail guy wouldn't even take certain things from me at a time. It was like, look, I can only take this much mail at a time from any residential location, business, whatever, because we're not going to be able to move it. So you got to schedule these things out. You got to move these things like this. I can't just pick up like I would have done before. And then me personally, I haven't been to the post office since this hit. I just can't. You know, I look at not just myself, but my children and my wife. And if I'm doing certain things to make money and feed the family, but it jeopardizes the family, then what is the purpose? What have I really served when it's all said and done? So it's been tough, man, because and when people are talking about wanting to go back to work, I get it. I totally get it. My whole livelihood is based on me being active and drawing and yada, yada, yada.
You're on hold. You're on temporary hold. I mean, really, right now.
In a lot of ways, you know, thankfully I had a cushion and thankfully I had some other things that were already in place. But, you know, I had this layout that was going to set a lot of things off for me, I was like, this year is going to be the super year. Like, this is about the move. And then it was like, no, you're not. You're not. You're going to sit here for a little bit and you're going to rethink and you're going to replan and restructure. And, you know, being able to draw, art is for most people, art is a luxury item. You know, as much as people love it, it's not something they need to survive. They can't eat it. It doesn't cover their homes. So I'm always grateful for those who are willing to invest energy and money into the arts on any level. But I also understand we are valuable. Everything in the world is based around creativity and art. But at the same time, if people have to choose between, do I eat this week or do I buy this or pay for that or, you know, whatever, or if they got to choose between their comic collection that they can go pick up now or getting some custom work, or if a company only has a certain budget and they're like, do we put this project out and bring these people in or do we hold off? You know, it's a huge dynamic that happens, man. I'm more fortunate in some ways than a lot of others I know. And then there are others who are way more fortunate than me. You know what I'm saying? But even myself, I try to look out for a few of the artists I know who were going through it and try to turn work over or let them know about grants. Man, there's a grant that I've applied for it 4 times. They had 155,000 people apply for this grant. Ooh. And they could only fund 400 people.
Holy smokes.
You know what I'm saying? And I took myself out of the running for a lot of these grants because I started to see how massive the need was for a lot of working artists. You know, art is one of those things where most people can't afford insurance. Most people don't have anything extra as a backup. And if they do, they can only do it so much of that other thing and get the art done if they're really making some sort of a living of the art. You know, I even had to turn down classes that I was going to teach because we don't know what this third phase is going to look like and what the governor is going to decide. And they wanted us to commit to being in a building. And I'm like, why would I do that? Mm-hmm. If I'm not going to go to the conventions and these other things, and you're telling me we can teach remotely for the first 2 months, but the last 2 weeks you want us to go back into a building, that doesn't make sense. Why can't we just finish out? But it's just the differences of opinion of what this is and what this isn't. And I'm just not one to take a chance. If you tell me there's a shark in the water, I'm just not jumping in. You know what I'm saying? If it's a dolphin, I might feel a little different. But if you tell me it's a shark, I'm not jumping. You know what I mean?
So I guess it sounds like we got Wally's answer, but let's say that for us, let's say Heroes Con went through. Let's say Heroes Con wouldn't have canceled. Heroes Con went ahead and stayed on target. Would you guys attend? Would you be comfortable attending, or would you skip it?
No, I'm skipping.
Yeah, my health is more important right now. And like everything, like Wally said, things is just uncertain. I like certainty, you know what I'm saying? So they still figuring it out, you know? Yeah. So I'll most definitely be, you know, cautious. I'll say that. So
I think I'm with you guys. It's not, you know, asset. You think out of 4 guys, you say, well, maybe 1 guy would be willing to go. So if 25% of the folks who wanted to go would still go to convention, they might could still make some money. But I think overall, most people are just not willing to take that chance. You know, I think you're going to have a lot of the guys that we're going for. You know, we go for the Wallies because we want to buy his artwork, or we go for the vendor because we want to buy their toys. I think a lot of them will have the same stance that Wally has here is, I'm not putting myself in that situation. So even if they had it, you're not going to have your vendors and your artists there because they're not ready to kind of put themselves out there, put themselves on the front line. Wally had a good point. I've never really thought about it. You know, me, Daniel, Ross, we can go to a convention. We shake hands with who we want to shake hands with. We're in the face of who we want to be in the face of. Wally's in the face of hundreds of people per day. So that's a whole nother level of a mask can't protect you at that point. You know, you're touching hands, you're writing people's faces all day. They're all over your stuff. So yeah, that's a whole nother world. Do you think we'll see price increases from this in the toy world and the comic book industry?
I hope not, man. I mean, I don't know, man. Somebody's gonna want to make up for it somewhere, you know. But
Yep.
I wouldn't. I just live by certain morals and principles. Like, if my price changes, it's based on certain things that merit that change. But I couldn't pass that off to the people who've been supporting me just because, you know. And that's my choice to either be out there or not be out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there'll be those who will say, "These are my COVID-19 prices," you know. This for that and whatever, you know what I mean? I can't knock them, but I can't see myself doing it, you know. And hopefully the majors won't do it either. Hopefully not, but you never know.
Yeah. Ross, you're like me. You order a lot of figures from different companies. Daniel kind of sticks more into the Marvel Legend world. I think you might be branching out a little bit with the G.I. Joe stuff, maybe.
G.I. Joe, Thundercats, yeah.
Thundercats, yeah. So you may be branching out. But Ross, have you seen much delay in your figures? And not that that's super important. Obviously, in the scheme of things, us not getting our Ninja Turtle figure on time is not really important in the scheme of things. But it still has an economic impact if companies aren't able to deliver these products. Are you seeing that much? Are you seeing where you've ordered something and it's supposed to come out, you ain't got it, and you're still waiting on it?
Big time. But, you know, me personally, listen to Wally, that's small. That's small to me. But, you know, it have slowed down everything. This COVID-19 is, man, it's just unreal because I order a lot of stuff on eBay and Big Bad Toy Store, and I have never got so many, like notices, your package going to be late, arriving late. So that's all I get now. Anything I order on eBay, it seems like everything arrives late.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I actually sold a Thor statue about a week and a half ago, and the guy, it was supposed to be delivered last Friday to his residence and shipped at USPS. And the guy hit me up on eBay today and said, "Hey man, you know, I know this is kind of out of your realm. You shipped it. It's not really your thing, but you got any ideas?" I was like, "Well, let me call USPS." And because he still hadn't got it. And when you go on eBay, it still shows scheduled delivery date was the 29th. I think that was Friday or Saturday, whatever the 29th.
Right.
So I called USPS, and USPS said exactly what you're saying here. They said, "Man, we're so backed up from the COVID stuff, short-staffed. I guess a lot of post offices were running like skeleton crews where they might have 8 people in the post office working. They've been working with 4 to help with social distancing." They said, "Your statue's probably not lost. It's just somewhere sitting, and they've not got to it, you know?"
Right.
And so, you know, again, that's on a personal level, which it doesn't affect us. But I guess really where I'm going with it is the larger companies, from an economic standpoint, if they can't get their product to the collectors, the economic snowball effect, you know, is a big concern, you know, because now you got companies that they can't move their products. So what do they got to do? They're laying people off. You know, they're letting people go, so it's a sad situation. I think we can recover over time, but it's going to be slow going, man. It's going to be slow going. It's like Wally said, you know, Wally probably won't attend a con in 2020, you know? So it's,
not a single.
And that's,
and I do.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do want to say, you know, like, and that's not, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking the postal situation at all, because the one closest to my house, I'm very, very well connected to them. Like, they let me, I probably shouldn't say this on here, they let me go to the back to bring packages in and things of that nature, because I go so much. And, you know, even before this happened, they were overworked and understaffed. So I can imagine what it feels like now with everything happening. I even had something that was coming in, and I called to check on it because it had been sitting for almost 10 days now. And they told me, well, UPS is so overrun that they're taking it to the United States Post Office and piling on top of them. Like, hey, we can't get this delivered. Can you get these delivered? And it's a system of, they just give them entire truckloads of stuff, and they've got to then sort back through it and figure out where it's going. So,
man,
that's why we're seeing so many things backed up and backed up and backed up and backed up. You know, when Amazon can't promise 2 days anymore, we're in a different place. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Right.
Amazon,
That's crazy. I've been seeing more trucks through my neighborhood than I've ever seen. I'll see a FedEx truck 3 times in my neighborhood a day.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool, man. Well, that's good discussion, guys. This was cool. I appreciate all of you guys being willing to join in on this. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm just kind of getting my feels for YouTube in general and doing my reviews on my review table. And I thought it'd be cool to start building a network of folks. And man, I could talk about this stuff. It don't need to be for YouTube. I could sit around for hours and talk about this stuff just in general anyway. So it's been really cool sitting down talking with you guys. As far as the folks that will be watching this on YouTube, comment below. If there's anything we discussed, you want to discuss it below. We'll be glad to jump in and talk with you. And if there's things that you want to hear talk about, we'll be glad to talk about those as well. Like I said, this is something I'd like to do about once a month. We'll have different faces in sometimes. Some of us may not be able to make it. Some of us will. Sometimes we may have more than just the 4 of us. But appreciate you guys being able to do it. Any last words from anybody?
Be safe out there.
Most definitely be safe.
All right, cool, guys.
Yeah, be safe. And I just appreciate, it was cool hanging out. I look forward to continuing as much as possible, as often as possible. Shoot, hopefully we get to a place where we got to do it a few times a month because the people are demanding it,
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get to a point where we could come on here and talk about a convention we just all went to. That's what I'd like to do. So hopefully we can get back to those days. We can get on here and talk about our convention halls that we brought in. So enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. I'll put everybody's link in the description and at the end of the video for anybody that's interested, want to check out these guys. We'll get a link for Wally. Doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does have a website and social media, so we can certainly link those as well. And hope everybody, again, stay safe. Till next time.
All right. Peace.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave any kind of comments. Hit that notification bell so you're aware of any new videos that I have. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe and check out Man Cave Collectibles, Custom Comics, and go check out Wally's webpage. And come check us back out at C3-T, Carolina Collectors Connection, Toy Talk Time podcast.